And John, when we get to a certain point when we talk, they can hear us.
Richard Gray says that I was live for 2 hours on Twitch, that the live stream never dropped, never stopped. So I don't know what happened. Well, hello everybody. This is Scott Roberts with Explore Scientific, and this is the Explorer Alliance live presentation of the FirstLight Chronicles. It's our fifth show with Kent Marts. Our special guest on this show is John Johnson. John has always finds his way here to Explore Scientific at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, and it's always great to have him on our show. Although I think you've only been on 2 shows before, is that right, John?
Yeah, I was on 2 of your Global Star Party shows, but I've checked in on several others as time permits, and hope to be back on a couple more of them.
Right. Well, I hope to have you on a Global Star Party. You were talking about, you were saying, well, I'm not an astrophotographer. What do I do? John, you have so much experience. That I think it'd be very valuable to have you on to share your stories, your advice, and certainly, all the work that you do in bringing people together, which culminates each year at the Nebraska Star Party. So it's and two, we were talking a little bit before when you first got here about. How things were going and everything, and you were mentioning how much you missed getting out there with other people and stuff. But here you are. You'll be watched by hundreds or thousands of people in the next couple of days. So I know it's not quite the same as actually.
Not quite the same, but I'm enjoying myself.
Right. So bring us up to date. What's going on with organizing the next Nebraska Star Party?
Well, as everyone probably has known, we did not have an official Nebraska Star Party this past summer. It would have been NSP 27 in 2020. We had been working very diligently for planning and everything, and had things pretty well rolling along till about March and April, and we started realizing that, this is probably not going to work. But we held out until about the middle of June, and probably the biggest issue was, we with the Star Party, we put on catered meals every evening, and we have a field school, a beginner's field school, 3 days of that week when we are up there at the Merit State Recreation Area. Plus we do a day of visitors or lectures for visitors in town of Valentine, Nebraska, and we just felt it wasn't prudent to do that. So we officially canceled the star party this past summer, but we had a non-star party, as I think probably a good number of the well-established star parties did. We just quietly went up there, and for some reason, about 60 or 70 other people figured that out too. So we had a good
went up
there, and I mean, nature of a star party, most of the time, you're pretty well socially distanced anyway.
And there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room at Merritt Reservoir. Big sand hills spread out.
Right. And as Kent, well, both Kent and Scott, the wind likes to blow up there too a lot of times. So
yeah,
anytime you exhaled, it was long gone. But we had a reasonably good time. And of course, the highlight this past summer was Comet Neowise.
oh yeah,
we got some great images, including like Scott said, I'm not much into astrophotography. Most of what I do is either just wide field tracking or just wide field time lapse.
That's astrophotography.
But it's astrophotography, and so yeah. I got some decent shots of Comet Neowise. It was put on quite a show up there. In fact, I had a time lapse that through the entire night, because that far north it stayed above the horizon for the entire evening. And one night I was up there, I set up one of my cameras to take time sequence, and did it from sundown to sunrise.
I'd love to see that.
Well, I'm still working on trying to really get a good processing of it. I'll send you a copy of it, of what I got in camera.
Yeah, do that, please. I'd love to see it.
But it was impressive.
For those of you who've never been to the Nebraska Star Party, it's DARK with all capital letters up there. I mean, it's one of the darkest places you can get without getting way out west. And it's worth going to. If you get a chance to go, you need to go to a star party like that, or Okie-Tex, or what's the one in Texas. Go to a dark sky site. You will be shocked at what you can't see.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. We are far enough out in the quote Sandhills area that we're border one skies, but yet we're close enough to the small town of Valentine. If you don't want to be camping, or you don't have your RV out there, you can run back into town. It takes about a half hour, 40 minutes to drive back into Valentine, and some nice hotels there. So it's kind of a best of both facilities. I mean, we're in really dark skies, but you still have some civilized amenities that you.
Valentine's what, 3,000 people?
Yeah, about that, 3,500 maybe, yeah.
And there's nothing south for 90 miles till North Platte.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and we're planning for NSP 28. In fact, as Scott mentioned, we and my wife and I, we like to come down here to Northwest Arkansas, usually twice a year, and enjoy getting over here to the Rogers Springdale area. But we are planning for next year. In fact, I have a Zoom meeting Thursday night, 2 nights from now, where we'll generally start kicking off our plans for the one in 2021. And let's all hope that we can put on a regular star party.
Well, I'm certainly hoping so. I was, there's been some things in the news about, vaccine possibly being ready, but we still don't know, and we still have to wait. But I think once there's some sort of remedy, and I believe there will be, then we can resume, the travel and the in-person star parties that we have historically done. But do you think that, I'm certainly not going to give up doing global star parties. I think that it's wonderful to, we're going to have one tonight at 7:00. Okay. We'll have people in the Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. It's the only way that you can do a global star party is to have it online, you know. And it's so interesting to see some of the reactions and the way that you can share, you know, imaging and all of that stuff. So it can be very interactive. It's just that you're just not in front of them, you know, so to speak. But I did save a little bit of a clip of. I don't know if you saw this, but I'll play some of the clip so you can see it. But this is Christopher Goes in the Philippines. Okay, we're watching the imaging of Jupiter from, I think it's Malaysia. Okay, you know, I'm on, of course, here in the United States, and we had people on from Europe and everything. This was last Saturday morning, so. You know, I had to peel myself out of bed at 3:30 in the morning to get ready for this.
Which would have been what, Saturday night or Sunday?
It was Saturday night. It was Saturday
in
night
Kuala Lumpur.
In Asia. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
about 13 hours difference, I think, is what it was. But but there's some great astrophotographers around the world, and this is. So I'll play just a few seconds of this, but so you can see it. I guess I'm not.
That's
Hold
not
on for a
for-
second. I am not going to be playing a few seconds of this. I'll play some of it tonight. Okay.
Come back for more.
Come back,
Back
more.
for more. That's right.
I'll have to jump
I
on.
played it already on yesterday. I played some of it, and there's another clip of Saturn that I'm going to play. So it's and maybe Mars as well, because they got these 3 planets, and it was just the seeing was incredible, John. I mean,
Yeah.
you know. So, and I know that you talked a little bit about.
I follow Christopher. I think we're Facebook friends. Damian Peach. I mean, some of these guys are just incredible. Some of the images I've seen of Mars in the last few weeks are just jaw-dropping. What they're able to pull out now. I mean, you're actually, you're seeing the volcanoes on the Tharsis Ridge there, and there was a couple of them that showed Valles Marineris that I didn't think there was any way you could image that from Earth.
Right. Yeah, but they do. You know, it's incredible.
Amazing.
It is. So, John, this show is about getting started in astronomy. We're trying to reach out to beginners who may be watching the show, trying to figure it out. Maybe they just bought their first telescope, or they're thinking about getting into it somehow. And I know that you've had to answer and field questions from beginners for decades.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So how do you get someone into astronomy? Because once we get them in, we want them in. We want them in.
We want them to
right?
stay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a delicate thing when you get somebody that's really charged up and say they want to go out and buy that first telescope.
Right.
I try to gently get to them and explain that no, you aren't going to see those fantastic images of Mars or Jupiter, Saturn. The minute you set that telescope up and maybe not dampen their expectations.
Yeah, you don't want to crush them, but you want
to make them realistic.
Yeah.
And then you can see, I've been at this for, oh my goodness, 50 plus years. And I had no other means other than to start out with the very basics, of telescopes, and learn the sky. That's why I always tell people, there's no way you can really get around other than, actually learning the constellations and learning the brighter stars and to know your way around. Now, everybody thinks they want to jump into the go-to telescopes, and especially for younger folks, I try to, we're usually doing with a parent or grandparent asking you what to get, and I try to steer them to something that is not complicated to start with,
Like
oh,
binoculars,
5 or 6
maybe?
inch, yeah, reflector, or maybe a 90 or 100 millimeter refractor on a nice, stable, uh, just manual map to get people started. Now, of course, there's people that think they want to jump right into the go-tos, and I have no problem. I mean, I was a dyed-in-the-wool manual, go out there and observer, for 30 of those 50 years. But I've become quite an advocate for the go-to mounts in recent years. But still, if you're just getting into it, just be careful what you wish for, I guess. Because you can load yourself up with so much equipment, and then, pardon the expression, like a meteor, burn out pretty quickly.
Yep, that's
The pro-
true.
the problem is that go to sounds so simple.
Yeah.
You push a button, it goes to, but there's so much more to learn about the mechanical aspects of polar alignment and how to focus and what's up there, that it's not simple. While it sounds simple with go to, it's really not.
Yeah, that's right, Kent.
There's a learning curve for all of
There's a
it.
learning curve for all of them, and granted, there's some of these, elaborate go-to systems out there now where it'll figure out the star field and plot and pick it out, but that's beyond most beginners. And even if they get a go-to, I tell them, you're still going to have to know where the stars are and know how to set, make sure the time is correct and your latitude, longitude is correct. Mm-hmm. And then if the telescope takes off and goes pointing to Arcturus, you have to know that that's Arcturus and not Spica or Alcade or some other star.
Right.
So it's not quite as simple.
Yeah, you have to actually become an astronomer.
That's
You have to become an astronomer, and along with that comes some knowledge of the sky. Okay, it is possible these days, and the technology is there, where you can just set it down. In fact, there's a couple of products out there right now. You do just set it down. They take pictures for you, okay, and that's it. You don't have to learn any constellations. You don't need to learn which star is which star. You just look at it, pick out an object, hit it, and a picture comes out. Okay.
I know.
And I think that's cool technology in a way. Okay, but that doesn't make you an astronomer.
Right.
By operating something like that.
What does it make you, Scott?
It makes you. It might be a taste of what astronomy could be. Okay, and if that's what happens to you, then that's great. That's important. Okay, but if you just kind of bought the gadget and you're just sort of gee whizzing it, okay, then wow, look at that thing go, and you've got some cool images, you're going to be kind of done with it after you've exhausted what it can do. Astronomy is something that there's things that happen in your mind, there's things that happen in your heart, okay, that's what propels you. So once these triggers of really exploring, this personal exploration and these real kind of personal discoveries that you make, doesn't mean that you're the first one to see something, but it's the first time for you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a discovery. If once you get into that frame of mind, that past that tipping point, then you start to become an astronomer, and you'll know that you are, because you'll be out looking at the sky all the time. Suddenly, you start to notice a lot more meteors streaking across the sky because you're in tune to it. Okay, you're in tune to it, and when someone says something that a lot of people would be like tongue in cheek saying, "Yeah, we're all made of stardust." Well, astronomers know that. Okay. They know that for real, and they it's not like some sort of an idea. It's just something that they inherently know. And so that's the difference. That's the difference. And they want telescopes and they want equipment that is geared to keep them exploring, right?
Yeah,
So
it's to me, yeah, it's to be a true amateur astronomer. It's a passion, you know, almost an obsession
The
that
lifestyle.
and lifestyle. And yeah, if we get even where I'm from up there in Omaha, Nebraska, if you get a week of week or 10 days of cloudy skies, there's a feeling that you miss that connection to even though I live in light polluted West Omaha, I still will go out in my driveway and look up and absorb some starlight. I mean, that's hard to explain to people what it does
yeah,
for.
yeah, but you feel better after you
I
do.
do.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think that if I feel that things aren't right in the world, I can just go out and do that. And I feel I'm healed, man. It's like that, so, and all what I thought were big problems kind of shrink
Just kind
down.
of shrink down and you realize, you're.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be, you could have some problems that a lot of people might consider to be really terrible problems to have, you know. But once you start, you have that perspective, you start to reframe, what those problems really are. And in the cosmological scale of it, it's almost nothing. Okay. So,
Yeah.
right?
I really
Right.
like this time of year because I can walk if left at what 6:30 last night, walked outside, it was dark, and just I literally walked out of the building and stopped and looked up at the sky, and
Yeah.
just went, oh my gosh, look, there's the planets, there's the stars, and stood there for 20 or 30 seconds and just looked at this thing that around here we talk about all the time and
Yeah.
just drank it in. And it makes me feel better. It literally does. And I get in the truck and drive home. And I
That's
get out of the driveway and do it again before I go in the house.
We have some interesting comments here from the group. Um, Celtic Raven says, "There's nothing simple about a go-to scope. I got mine right at the beginning of COVID, and I know this guy pretty well, but I'm still trying to figure it out." Jim Norwood says, "We need a new word for that, Scott. Something's besides astronomy." Okay, I would agree with that. Mike Wiesner says, "It just makes you a telescope operator." Okay, yeah, telescope operator. Chuck Lewis says, "Appliance operator, question mark." Yeah, yeah, it's an appliance.
It's a toaster.
Jim Norwood says, "Optical robot deployment creature." Yes, optical robot deployment creature. David
ORDC.
Ing said, when I started with my Celestron Go-To, it asked me to star a line and gave me some named stars that I didn't even know how to find. I used a free app on my cell phone to verify I was looking at the correct star.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how you start to become an astronomer right there. You're starting to have to figure some stuff out. So that's cool. Mike Wiesner.
Hi.
Mike, you should put this on a t-shirt.
Hey, Mike.
Life without the stars is not living. I like that.
That's a
Yeah,
good slogan.
that is good.
That's a great
I
slogan.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Write that down, Scott. We can use that.
Life without the
It's
stars.
Mike's. I can't use this thing. That's right. Well, maybe I could put, quotations, Mike Wiesner.
Mike Wiesner, yeah.
That's right. Pekka Hatala says it's a bond. Okay, we would agree with that.
Now I'll go out now, and now granted, it's pretty hard to have a spouse, whether you're the one or not, that is really as into it as you are. But
Yeah.
my wife just she accepts it, understands it, and but I'll say, hey, I have to go out and talk to my friends. I got to go out there and say hi and gaze up there. And yeah, it does something for you that it's really hard to really explain unless you're into it like we all are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have people, I've been selling telescopes for a long time.
Hmm.
And, often, the a married couple will come in or, uh, and just like you say, one of them's really, really into it and the other one, yeah, it's just kind of like, well, that's their thing. Whether it's the husband or the wife that's into it. They're getting ready to spend, I don't know, a couple of $1,000, all right? And it's not a light purchase. This is an investment, okay? And sometimes I will be alone uh, with either the husband or the wife that's not really into it like that, and they'll be asking me, questions like, "Gosh, do they really need to spend that kind of money? Do they?" And I'll go, "Well, let's think of it this way. All the time they spend on this telescope is time they won't be spending in a bar somewhere."
That's one of my lines over the years, Scott. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to use that. I hadn't heard.
Right?
That's
I mean, you
true.
can spend $2,000 going to a bar in a few times. People don't think about it, but it adds up quick.
It's
So
perspective. It's
it's
perspective.
perspective, and it's a lot safer, and it's a lot better for you. So that's right. Um,
And the part of for me too is the camaraderie, which we talked about earlier, not being able to have as much as I like here in the last few months. But
yeah,
the friends you meet and the experiences you share, especially if you're out there under a dark sky, it's just immeasurable. It is.
yeah. Wade Prunty is making a point here. It says plate solving and auto alignment on a go-to mount has been a huge part of me learning the night sky. Because I can't see most objects visually, I'd be careful dismissing that as not a tool for true astronomy. But Wade, you are different than the person that is doing this casually. You are anything but a casual astronomer. Okay, you're doing a show about astronomy. You are sharing your images with the world. You are pushing the limits of what the equipment can do. And I would say that anybody that takes automation tools and makes them work for them to get to that next level of understanding astronomy, they're an astronomer, big time, okay? But the person that is just looking for, that is casual about it, doesn't really want to learn how to do it, okay? Just wants to have maybe just the experience of it. I'm not gonna dismiss that, but as John was saying, there are people that spend thousands on gear and realize that they're going to have to learn more than just straight up automation. What you learned in plate solving, auto alignment, go to operation, stuff like that, wasn't like just flipping a switch. You had to learn how to operate all these things, make them work in harmony with each other. And then you had to learn how to do image processing, how to manage your image files, all this stuff. And you got way, way, way into it. Okay, so that is that is the difference between you and someone that is just casually doing it. John Johnson has spent a lifetime trying to get people interested in astronomy and stay in astronomy. I have too, and Kent's the same. I mean, he's been, he runs an astronomy club. He's working here all day long, and he does astronomy every chance he can get. Okay, we do this because we have a passion for it, and you do too, and that's the difference. Let's see. Mike Wiesner said he'll license his quote to Explore Scientific. So, that's good. Byers Astrophotography says my favorite quote is the beauty of astronomy is that it forces us all to look in the same direction. There's a unifying
That's a good
aspect.
quote. Yeah.
That's very nice. And Celtic Raven says, Explore Scientific, you clearly have not been to a family star party where my partner brews his own beer.
Well, we've had people
We
bring their own
have.
beer.
We have all been to parties that have been a lot of fun, so that's true. But anyhow, I am really grateful that you came to our program today. I'm going to let Kent do his part today, and we'll talk a little bit more. Just stay with us, John, because
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
have some
fine
other,
for now. Yeah,
okay, we'll have some other questions for you.
yeah.
Go ahead, Kent. I know that you have.
What was the challenge this week, Scott? Today for $1,000, right?
That's right.
Okay, so
$1,000 and under.
$1,000 and under.
How do you get someone started in astronomy the right way? Okay,
Well,
for
it's right.
$1,000 or under.
It's right behind John. Well, and I'm cheating a little bit, but
Okay.
John's going to move. Now, we have it on a little stool, but it's stable enough that John promises he's not going to break it.
I'm not going to knock it off.
But John, if you break it, you buy it.
I'll buy it. Yeah.
Just be careful. So,
I'll make you a good deal, John. I will.
yeah, we will
Maybe
watch
if I
you.
break this. Yeah.
So behind John, or John's showing us the 10-inch truss tube Dobsonian telescope.
Yeah.
It comes in at $949, so $950, and it doesn't come with an eyepiece, so you're gonna have to buy a couple of eyepieces, and that'll push over $1,000. But you said a telescope, so I'm cheating here, because you have to spend another really couple $100 to get some of our 52-degree eyepieces that makes the telescope usable. What's great about this telescope is that it has 10 inches. John, spin it around so you can see how big around it is. So
The aperture.
there, the aperture. So that is 10 inches across, and you're looking down into it. Normally, a Dobsonian telescope is very difficult to collimate the two mirrors that are in there. But just like the Costco Dob we talked about Thursday, it comes with a tool that reaches down inside the mirror box and lets one person do it. Now, as you can see, John moving it, it moves very, very easily. And that's what makes it really simple for beginners. One, because it comes apart into the ground
Very
box,
simple.
the mirror box, the truss tubes, and the cage, it comes apart. I mean, right there where those yellow rocker arms are, where John's touching, that comes up, and then you got the bottom piece that those truss tubes come off, and the cage. Show them the cage, John, up there. That comes off, and you have a very, very portable, very, very big telescope. And they make Dobsonian telescopes solid tube, which are great. The problem is they're bulky and big, and you have to have a big car, and they're sort of hard to move around. So looks like John's frozen a little bit. Hopefully not frozen forever. But $949. Gonna spend a couple more $100 on an eyepiece. And I recommend the shroud for $80. There's a t-shirt or Velcro that goes around it like a big sock and keeps light from getting in. It keeps dew from getting on the primary mirror, makes it more usable. So we're still, really in about $1,100, $1,200 to get up and running. But this is a telescope that could last you for your lifetime. It's a big old light bucket, sucks in a lot of light, focuses it down into your eye, and would be a great starter telescope.
Oh yeah, this beyond. I mean, this is enough aperture for you to see the broad range of celestial objects. You get out to a place as dark as the Nebraska Star Party. What do you think you could see with this telescope at Nebraska Star Party?
Oh my! I mean, this thing would. I mean, what's the limiting magnitude on this? Probably 14 and between 14.
Yeah, and that also depends on how good your eyes are, right?
And then how good your eyes are, but
right.
Yeah, you could see hundreds, if not thousands, of galaxies, clusters. Yeah, with this.
And it's beautiful. It's a work of art to look at.
Well, just to give the viewers of our show an idea, okay, you can see from a Bortle 1 sky, okay? Something like somewhere between five, if you were counting stars, you could see it was somewhere between 5,000 to 6,000 stars, depending on how good of a dark adaptation you have. With just an 8-inch telescope, you can see 10 million stars, okay? Because you're gathering over 1,600 times more light than what your eye can. So, think of your eye dilating to 10 inches. Think about how much easier it would be to find galaxies, nebula, faint comets, this kind of thing, because it's going to pick it up for you. You can see John there moving the telescope around. This is a completely manual type of telescope. I call it organic astronomy because you're going to be looking up at the sky, you're going to be looking at constellations, and you're going to be star hopping, or what some people call star walking, okay? Where you go from one star to the next to find these celestial treasures that are up there. But this is a ton of aperture that a lot of people don't have this much aperture on their telescopes until you start going to some of the serious star parties, and then you'll see some really huge ones. But a 10-inch telescope is substantial aperture.
It's substantial. You will never run out of objects to look at in a 10-inch telescope.
That's true.
What's cool about this telescope is John's moving it very easily. He can probably move it with his pinky.
One finger is all it takes to move this around. And that's part of the inherent design that you may not realize what it takes to design the smooth operating of a telescope. But to be able to move this around so easily and effortlessly and have it work so smoothly, that takes some design work.
And it's when you look through it, you just literally, John, sort of move the eyepiece around to where you can look through it and show them how the eyepiece goes right there. So show them how you would observe through it.
Right here is where you missed putting a finder scope on it.
Yeah, I didn't put a finder. It comes with a finder scope. No, it doesn't.
Telrad. Yeah.
It'll come with put a $39 Telrad on
Close. And then this is how you focus and look through this.
And show how you move it, how easy it is to move it just a little bit.
So Christy is on the chat right now. She's saying that her daughter Libby has the same scope, and she's able to move it around easily. Libby's 10 years old, and she's already using her smartphone and taking images of the planets.
Right. And getting good pictures.
Yeah, I'm getting good pictures. That's true.
All right. So, John, you can sit down and quit being Vanna White for a while. We have one other thing that people have been asking about. That we kept talking about the Brashear telescope and the really big telescope that I'm involved with. So, did Zoom just shut down?
No.
Okay, I just lost it on my screen. Okay. So let me get this PowerPoint set up here. And I'm going to share my screen. Is that up?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So it's a 1911 Brashear telescope, and it was donated to NWA Space in July 2017 by Swarthmore College. They had decided that they had bought a big, short, fast telescope and built a new observatory, and they were going to turn their historic observatory into a multicultural international student center. And so they were turning the dome into, they're going to put a flat roof and just make it a room. And so they put a proposal out in March of that year, of 2017. And one of our board members wrote and said, yeah, we'll take the telescope. Had no idea what it was. And because she's not a telescope person, she just likes the idea of the science center we're wanting to build. Yeah. And so she said, yeah, we're interested in it. So they sent information and she forwarded it to us, and everybody's jaws dropped. And, there were some board members of the nonprofit that were like, that's too big. We can't do that. And there was a bunch of us going, Oh, yes. Yes, we can. And
Mm-hmm.
this gives you an idea. Didn't take it. Dadgummit. There we go.
There you go.
That gives you an idea how big it is. Um, it's hard to
Oh yeah,
fathom.
that's actually a human being up there on the declination
Yeah.
axis, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is the tube. It's 24 inches in diameter, and the tube is 36 feet long. And you can't, if you've never seen a big telescope, it's hard to get an idea of the scale of this thing. Okay, so that right there is an F5, an F12 5-inch finder scope on it,
Right.
that we're trying to figure out how to get apart. And because we had no engineering drawings, nothing. We really literally had to take this thing apart on our own. And so here is, we were afraid of dropping a bolt or something down onto the
The objective.
the objective. And so we packed towels and blankets and pillows in there, and threw a portal in the side of it. That's about like, you can see one open up here on the top right here.
Right.
So back here, you can see the mechanism that moved the dome. The dome is 45 feet in diameter. So imagine, step off 45 feet, and that's how big of a circle it is.
So what did
It's
they do with the dome? Do you know, Kent?
just up there. They built a flat roof, and it's just a void above it. We
Oh, I
asked,
see. I see.
yeah,
So they left the dome on. Okay.
right, but there's nothing up there. You don't realize how big it is until you see a guy leaning into into the port of the side of the tube. So
Right.
these two pieces right here, this one and this one, the top of the telescope, and this is actually the eyepiece side is at the top, and the piece down here is the objective side. And so
Yeah,
right now
upside down. Okay.
we're trying to figure out how to get the top piece off, because every bolt around the perimeter has been taken off and we can't get it apart. And so we ended up trying to jackhammer it apart and pry it apart, pull up with 10,000 pounds of pressure from it wouldn't budge. And so I was standing on some scaffolding, and I said, "Hey, Fred," which is the guy in the shorts, "look up on this spot. Isn't that a port?" And he said, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Oh, you can see it. You can't see it in this picture." And I said, "Well, open it." And he opened it, and here was a hidden bolt that John Brashear had put there just so people couldn't inadvertently,
A safety bolt.
because some vandal could come in and take off all those bolts and it just go clunk. And you couldn't do it unless you opened up that port. The port was not easy to see. So, it was brilliant design. There is the declination axis coming up and flying. That was a challenge to get off, because you've got bolts that are coming out at a 40-degree angle.
Yeah.
You can't just pull up on them. You have to push them out and pull up. And it took a lot of work to get that out. But as you can see, the entire telescope just went out through the shutter opening. You don't get a feel for how big this stuff is. That cabinet is made out of cast iron and weighs 9,500 pounds. It's rather large. And this guy down here in the bottom, you can see a face down there. He's inside the foot of it, and it's two pieces that bolt together. Each one of those pieces weigh 9,500 pounds as well. Here's the eyepiece side of the telescope. Gives you an idea of how big it is. Talks about why it's called the Sproul Observatory.
I'll give you guys a little bit of a tidbit here. Okay, this telescope was built in 1910. The kind of mount that it's on wasn't even developed, wasn't even invented until 1824. Okay, so German equatorial mounts were relatively still new at this time, and and they did just a beautiful job on this. So when you actually see the engineering that self-taught John Brashear did on this telescope, it's just amazing.
Yeah, we have no design. They threw away the engineering plans. We don't know how the shaft, everything's put together. We just have to sort of feel our way through this. So here it is after it arrived on 2 flatbed trucks. And this is part of the crowd that showed up to watch it. We had about 100 people there um, when it came. And it just, again, this gives you a good perspective how long one of those tubes is, and how big these foot pieces are,
Right.
the shoe that it sets on. So total weight is 50,000 pounds.
Well, the German equatorial head's taller than the guy standing next to it. So
Yeah, it's significantly taller. Even on beams, it's taller.
right.
So this one is what the finder scope glass looked like
Oh, man.
when we took it off.
Now, when a scope gets this dirty, then it's time to clean it. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot
Even-
of people tell you don't clean your optics too often. Okay, but
Yeah.
this one definitely needs cleaning.
And so we were amazed that the actual primary or the objective lens on the big scope, it didn't have the lens cap on it. It'd been sitting there open for 9 years, or whatever it was, just sitting up there. Last time they used it, pointed at the sky, it was almost perfectly clean. But remember what this picture, and that's beautiful golden brass, which is actually red brass. This gives you an idea how it's hidden. That's the focuser we had to take off to get the tube up out. And so Clint Branham, who's here with polishing compound and polishing wheels and a motor, spent 50 hours working on the brass. Oh, I got them out of order. Here's the finished tube when it saw first light. We got a pair of clamshell brackets and from here and put a little bit of felt on them, and you can see how well the brass polished up on that end piece.
Oh yeah.
And the glass is just beautiful, clean. As I said, Clint and I were like handling nitroglycerin when we took that cell apart the first time, and it's really, really a beautiful thing. There's Scott looking at it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at Jupiter or Saturn, I think, one or the other.
Right.
So this is trying to figure out how we're going to strip the paint off of the cabinets. We've already taken off like 3 layers of paint. It's, I don't know how many hours it's going to take to strip these things off and get them down to bare metal and then get them repainted, but it's going to take thousands of hours because there's about 7 or 8 layers of paint on there, and it's one layer I'm pretty sure is blood paint, which is protein based, and it's just, it was
Blood
hard to get off. Huh?
Blood paint?
Yeah, they used to use blood as the foundation for paint because it makes a solid protein and it binds into all. Yeah, look it up.
Never heard that. Huh.
Look it up. It was very popular in the
I
teens and
believe you.
20s.
Yeah, I believe you.
And there's the primary lens and this really cool mounting crate that Fred Oberleith, the little guy in the shorts, made. And he suspended it with ropes. So if the truck turned over, it would, we screwed it to the floor of the truck. So if the truck turns over, it still won't damage it. And so that's it. NWA Space is the nonprofit I work for, working to build a science education center in Northwest Arkansas. Our name is our URL. If you put a dot in it, NWA.space. Now,
Yeah.
You want me to run the animation, Scott? I could.
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay, let me stop sharing for just a minute and get that screen.
By the way, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, the NWA Space is in the middle of fundraising. So there is, if you would like to help out any amount at all to contribute to this museum, science center, and to get this 1910 Brashear 24-inch refractor back up and going again, certainly, go to NWA.space and make a contribution. I'm sure that you got a direct line to Kent here. Once they build that thing, I'm sure you can get an ultra VIP tour of the facility once it's built.
And you're seeing right now the artist renderings of what we've done. That's the outside. It has a solar telescope that's actually part of the building that we'll go through here in just a second. Rooftop patio for parties, star parties.
Right.
If you notice, there's glass in the observatory. We have half the observatory is glass windows that will have the ability to close shutters on. We did that on purpose to, let people outside the facility see in during the daytime to see what's inside, because this whole telescope's about our age. So we've now gone down through the solar dome, through the heliostat. We're going down the barrel of it, reflecting off of that mirror. Now we're going down the grand entryway that runs down the middle of the observatory,
That beam of light just goes all the way down the hall, I guess.
and then reflects and goes back. You can see that it's going to be about a 20-inch diameter sun. This is going into the observatory.
So that's a heliostat, I guess. And
That
then,
was a heliostat, yeah.
right. And then this would be.
This is the Brashear telescope.
Yeah. Someone forgot to attach the counterweight.
Yep, we noticed that. But when people give you stuff, you don't criticize their work.
No, no, you don't.
So anyway, that's that.
Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, anyways, here, I'll just go ahead and put the URL down here. I guess I should do it this way. NWA Space. There we go. There we go. Well, we have more to show tonight. We've got our global star party starting up here at 7 p.m. So in a couple of hours, we'll be back live right here where you're watching at this very moment, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter. And we've got international group of astronomers coming on, and you'll be able to hear David Levy give his keynote talk, and he always does some sort of poetry. Sometimes he sings during his opening remarks, which is totally cool. And then you got Astronomy Magazine's the chief editor, David J. Eicher, coming on as well, giving another segment, which will be totally cool. John, I want to thank you very much for coming on to our show today and hanging out with us and sharing your knowledge with all of our audience here. And Kent will come up with another challenge for our next FirstLight Chronicles, which will happen on Thursday. Yep. And you're muted, Kent.
Sorry about that. I had been typing, so I'm muted. We've exhausted the telescopes that are more or less entry level for affordable prices.
Now we're going to get into maybe more expensive, but still beginner level.
Yeah, and I one of the sessions be binoculars as well. I think we'd be remiss to not talk about binoculars.
That'd be good, because that's an integral part of being an astronomer, is having a good pair of binoculars.
We've talked about it.
Excellent, yeah.
That's right.
Well, I just want to take time to thank both of you very much for inviting me to be part of this and sharing stories and ideas. And to the audience out there, you cannot find a better bunch of people in this organization.
Oh, John, thank you so much.
On down, I mean it.
Thank you.
I've known Scott, or known of him, for what are you? Early '80s, I think.
Goodness.
I don't know if he probably doesn't remember, but my first time to talk to Scott was, I went out to California when you were still working with Meade.
Okay.
And what I was trying to do back then was to see if I could to somehow get a Meade dealership into Omaha, Nebraska. And I called him on the phone, and he didn't know me from Adam, and we talked, and he kind of set me straight. Well, it was a tougher job than to try to start up a Meade distributorship, but be that for what may, that was my first experience with Scott, and I've followed his career and the growth of Explore Scientific over the years. It's just been amazing, and I cannot say enough good things about this organization. They support the Nebraska Star Party just no end. And they're always invited to be up there with us anytime we're up there. So
Yeah, and we'll be back up there.
I want to make sure everybody, you work with these guys. They are amazing.
John, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Well, we hope to see you back here at 7 o'clock Central, and we will try to get some live views of, maybe we can capture some more of Jupiter and Saturn. You know, we're getting closer and closer to that great conjunction on December 21st, which is also the winter solstice, right?
Yeah.
So a monumental day in astronomy.
I think it'd be a monumental night.
And
Well, it'll be early.
Oh, that's right.
So,
It's in the.
so
That's one thing.
Christopher Go and
early.
I are trying to figure out how to image Jupiter and Saturn in broad daylight. Okay, because they'll be up higher in
You
the
may
sky.
have to, because
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
it'll be very low in the southwest at sundown.
right.
Yeah.
That's right, but it'll be so close together. Just I guess less than 1 hour.
Even one eyepiece. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see both planets in one eyepiece. So you got to
It's less.
at least try to do this. This is totally cool, and you don't want to be one of the ones that actually had clear sky and just said, "No, I'm not gonna waste my time on that." You want to see this because it hasn't been like this since the 1600s. So
Yeah.
this is a big deal, and
And not going to be like this in
for
our
a long time.
lifetimes.
So this is for some people, this is rarer than once in a lifetime. This is there have been many lifetimes that have not seen this. So it's very cool, and we hope that you're part of it with us as we start to do this. But watch the sky and watch Saturn and Jupiter get closer and closer to each other each successive night. It'll be I think it'll be very interesting to you. Well, thanks very much, guys. Thank you. We are going to close for now, and I don't think, Richard, I'm going to try not to leave it running on Twitch all night long. Okay, so, and we will see you later. Take care.
Thank you.
Hi guys, this is Tyler, customer service rep with Explore Scientific. And today I'm here to announce that the Explore Alliance is excited to be hosting the first astrophotography contest to recognize the excellent work of the images of our members' ranks. For this initial contest, we are looking for the best of the best in 7 imaging categories, from deep space objects to planetary, lunar, solar, wide field, time-lapse, and terrestrial. Prizes will be awarded in each category. First place winner will receive a $200 Explore Scientific gift card, an upgrade in their Explore Alliance membership, and a 24 by 36 mounted print for their winning image. Second place winners will receive a $150 Explore Scientific gift card, an upgrade to their Explore Alliance membership, and an 18 by 24 mounted print for their winning image. And third place will receive a $100 Explore Scientific gift card, an upgrade to their Explore Alliance membership, and 11 by 17 print of their winning image. Best in Show will be selected from the first place winners in each of the 7 categories. The Best of Show will receive a 24 by 44 mountain print of their winning image in place of the 36 by 24 first place prize. Entries are being accepted through 6 a.m. Central Standard Time to December 24th of 2020. Now, before each entry, please be aware of the following rules and requirements. Each entrant must be an Explore Alliance member. If you are not an Explore Alliance member, it is a free program, and we will provide you a link in the below in the description so you can sign up. At least one piece of Explore Scientific equipment, telescope or mount, must be used in the capture of the submitted image. Entrants must identify equipment and imaging data in the appropriate sections on the form below. Each entry must be the original work of the entrant. By entering, you are stating that the image is your property and the work that you originally have. Although the contestant entry period is through December 24th, 2020, images outside the taken contestant time periods are eligible for entry. Entrants must read and agree to abide by the rules and photo release at the time of submission. These are included on the form below. Entrants may enter more than one photo into the contest. Again, this is Tyler, our customer service rep, along with Explore Alliance. We really hope to see your astrophotography images, and we can't wait to see what you can produce. Again, this is Tyler. Clear skies and keep looking up.